Everyone, and welcome to Mayfield and Friends, episode 21. Today I am with SCIMMY. SCIMMY, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us who you are to the people.
Yeah, this is SCIMMY. I play a 1 defense UIM, specifically 60 attack, the superior build. Yeah.
So I guess the first question is, we've seen peers go from, all the way as low as 40 attack. 40, 50, 60 is kind of a norm, but with like different changes that have come around, making the obviously, the new one of the best weapons in the game, the Esmumpton's Fang being 82, changing Scythe Rex, changing requirements for different weapons. What keeps you in the pure 60 attack form?
I think probably just the fact that I used to do a lot of Pking. That's pretty much all I did before I made this account. Well, before I made my main UIM. But I had a lot of 60 attack, 1 defense peers as well as Zerkers over the years. So it's just always been like kind of like my thing. I was gonna go 75 until they made the changes for the weapons or before they changed them to tier 80. I actually told multiple people that I was gonna go for Void Waker and still go 75, but I think I tried to kill like 1 spindle, and yeah, it was awful. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that, and I'll probably go dry anyway. So, but that's the reason I'm staying 60. It's just because I already have my best in slot. I got a D skim, and I just got a D sword the other day for TOA when I go back. So yeah, I'm good.
So for TOA, I'm assuming because of the defense and attack limitations on yourself, you're kind of looking just at the shadow and the light bearer, of course.
Yeah, so I actually got the light bearer. It was my first purple, my first and only purple. I have I think 87 KC right now. I got it at 76. So yeah, I'm just looking for shadow now.
And so I guess the big thing is, do you notice, comparatively speaking, to like another? I know you said you had a main UIM. Um, so compared to that account, do you notice like a huge difference or drop off in DPS with dragon only weapons? Does anything besides the Void Waker make you kind of have an itch to scratch in regards to moving up the attack bracket?
Not at this point. There would have to be another weapon that was like tier 75 that would be, decently good, at least like equivalent to like a whip or something. I would do it. I would, but I wouldn't do it for like an abyssal dagger. So it's hard to say really because there would have to be something new. Um, I can't go 80. 80 to me is just it looks weird. It's funky. So
It is funky knowing that like 70, 60, 75 has always been like the RuneScape numbers or OSRS numbers, and like seeing the 82 and all that stuff is just, it kind of gets a little strange.
yeah, obviously it doesn't matter for really any account that doesn't have an attack restriction. So, um, but yeah, I do think that it's strange how it was for as long as it was, and then they changed it after all that time. So
So I guess speaking of after all that time, let's move into like your history with the game. When did you initially start playing RS3, what we now know as RS3, and then did you transition to old school right on release day, or was it kind of I found it later on as the time has gone past?
So I started playing old school, or I started playing RuneScape in general in 2005 or 2006, I believe. Um, and that back then, all I used to do was like free to play PK. I would just, just there's a maple shortbow to Rune 2H.
The
Good times.
classic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I got into old school in February 2014, I think. So I think it was what, like a few months after release, or
But a
when did
little
the
under
game
a
come out?
year. I believe it was mid 2013 is when it came out.
Okay. But yeah, so that I started playing then, and then I made a so it's kind of ironic, but I made a Zerker, and I did go 99 attack on it. And I played that account for a long time. And then I actually ended up getting defense on it because I got a mutagen from Zora, and I was like, oh, this is totally going to be worth it. And I regretted it, next to immediately. But as far as how I continued on to, start playing UIM and stuff like that, after that account, I just, continued to just progress it and everything like that. I just PK'd, and I didn't do too much PVM. I just did like Zora and Vorkath, just like a lot of people. I've still to this day have not done a single Cox. So that's going to be a very fun grind, especially with a Dragon Sword or whatever I'm going to be using. So I got into UIM because I was dumb at the duel arena one day and lost my bank. It was like $4 or something. And I was like, yeah, I need to do something to, keep me from staking my GP. So, and I'd never played another type of iron or anything like that, but I decided to make UIM because, I mean, it's, a lot of people would say, well, it's definitely the most difficult, time consuming, that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it's been amazing. I've had more fun playing UIM than I have been playing the game over all the years. So I do like it a lot.
That's wonderful to hear. Always good to find like the thing in the game you like the most. And I think that's one of the cool parts about this game in general is you can play as the main, you can play with the one life as the hardcore, and you can play as the, regular iron or UIM. There's really no limit on, the possibilities that you can create, especially when it comes to restrictions that whether you've placed or we've seen this huge surge in popularity of different snowflake Ironmen, such as your area locked or chunk locked, or of course with yourself and a few other people who have had on this cast themselves. That is just, the traditional locks we see. Like for myself, I play a level 3, and level 3s have been around in the game for so long. It's just like, it's just adding something you've played a long time, adding something you enjoy to another game mode that you found to be extremely interesting.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, there's so many different ways you can play this game, whether, you want a skill or PVM or PvP. I mean, you can, again, be level 3, 10 HP, all these different types of builds. So it's really cool that you have a ton of different options on what to do and, what type of account to play.
So nowadays, as an ex-PKer, how long did you PK and how long did you stay with RS2 before it became RS3? Were you one of the people who quit like instantaneously when new combat came out, or did you kind of give it a try before you left?
So I definitely didn't play EOC at all. And so when I first started in, again, 05 or 06, I played for a few years. And then I stopped playing, and then I came back in like 2011, came back to PKing, but never gave EOC a shot, just because, I mean, in my eyes, the game just, it's just, the game wasn't the same. So
Absolutely. And I think it's fun to hear people say that because I actually didn't move from RS3 to OSRS until about 2015. I still played, and I think it was right before they released Archaeology.
okay.
So I played the game like for a while after RS3, but for me as a level 3, the combat didn't really affect me. The combat bar actually kind of helped us with skilling, because that was before, the shift drop and everything of that nature. So I could just put the fish in my hotbar or logs or whatever, and I could just click the numbers and it would just drop everything without interrupting any actions.
Easy game.
Exactly. So I remember one of my like fondest memories I have is working on 120 fishing. I would like just fish rocktails at school, and that was like kind of what I did for a super long time. And then I just kind of stopped playing the game for a bit, and then old friend of mine was like, we should play old school together, and I was like, yeah, we should. And now here we are.
Here we are. Yeah.
We have
Can't
made it.
believe yeah. I can't believe I've been playing this already for like 9 years. And I haven't really stopped like, I did back then. I think the longest break that I really took was probably like 6 months or something. But I took a break after my CG grind, I think, for actually in during my CG grind for like 3 weeks. And then after, I think, for like 5 months or something like that. So, I mean, they're definitely needed sometimes, because games just it can definitely be mentally frustrating.
Absolutely. And I guess for those who don't know who you are, let's talk about the CG grind. What was the final KC you got your enhanced at for the BOFA?
I got my first enhanced and only enhanced at 2296 CG KC.
So on estimated time that you put into that grind. I know most people think that CG, an average CG is what, like anywhere between 9 and 12 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say so. I'd probably say 10 minutes. Yeah.
So on average, how much time do you think you put into that grind itself?
That grind probably was about 500 hours.
Jeez. And what kept you going? Because I know a lot of people who have gone for Blade or Bofa, they go like a couple hundred dry and they're like, I just can't take this anymore.
So I really wanted the pet. Really, really wanted the pet. My main UIM that I quit playing, I actually de-ulted it, but I had 1K KC on there. It was like 1,021, I think, and I didn't have the pet on that account either. And I didn't get the pet on this account until 2033 KC. So that was a big thing for me that just kept me going. But also just the fact that I was able to do CG while I worked. I did probably 25 CGs every day while I worked. So being able to, I mean, it's just like once you get it down, it's brain off. So I would be, on the phone in meetings and stuff like that, and I'll just be killing Hunliff. Like I didn't care.
That's insane. I know, like, when Group Hardcore came out, or Group Iron Man came out, I played it with some friends, and we got the CG within like 2 or 3 weeks of release, I think. And that was my first time ever doing like big PVM. And I remember I'd be at work doing the same thing. I'd like hotspot my laptop on my phone, and I'd be doing CG with like 90 to 100 ping. And then my coworkers would be like, "Yo, we gotta like work on this." I'm like, "Hold on, I'm in the mid Hunliff fight."
I know, and then sometimes you actually like have to go, and then you like have to walk out the portal because we're not giving Hunliff free kills on us.
Exactly. I was not hardcore by then, so I didn't have to worry about losing any of our lives. So that's fine.
Yeah, but just a scoreboard, it's just knowing how many deaths I have on that scoreboard, it's not cool. I died a lot. Like, no, I think I died total like 180 times during that grind. But the first like probably 150 times I died was like within the first 1K KC, just because I was tick eating everything and I would just do dumb stuff, speed runs and different things like that. But yeah, scoreboard bothers me. So,
I can imagine. I would say with 180 and then like 2,300 completions, that must be like a pretty decent KD you got there for the Hunliff.
yeah, I think it's like 12 or something. It's not bad at all.
What is your UIM rank for Hunliff? Or I guess in general rank as well?
So when I ended the grind, I was ranked 2 for UIM. I think I was ranked 25 for Iron. And for normies, it's so botted, so the ranks are not correct in any way. But I'm rank 1 for 1 defense CG.
That is, I don't know how you kept with it for so long, but I respect the like taking a break when you're done, because man, that must have been because like even though you got to the point where it's kind of brain off, it's still like it's not like fishing, right? You don't just get to click once. You still have to do stuff the whole time.
The whole time. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it was definitely a lot. I was definitely not doing my job as efficiently as I should have been or could have been, I guess. But no, I mean it's over now. So what are they going to say?
I said, did they ever like notice your productivity go up and be like, what happened?
They never said anything to me. No.
It's so funny that you say that because I've had scenarios like that. I'll have like one of the top managers, and like I always got my shit done and all that stuff. I got promoted not too like about a year ago, so I can't do anything at work anymore in regards to RS. But my old position, like it wasn't that hard to do, and I remember one time one of the the top manager at my station was like, "What are you doing?" And I looked at him and I said, "Oh, I'm playing RuneScape," and he said, "Okay," and then just walked away.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but all right.
Because they never had problems with me. So
yeah, my good friend Guamwater, he actually the other day I think he was doing a CG and said something about how his boss walked in or something, so he had to like close the client or he died or something like that. So that's big Guamwater vibes.
man, I can't. That's sad. One for the scoreboard,
Yep.
one for the big
It
kitty.
is what it is, though. It's gonna happen. At least we're not hardcores, It's just like we die literally daily, multiple times. So I mean, unless you just like Runecraft or do agility. Like I think you probably have like 200 mil agility with all these podcasts.
Yeah, dude. One day, that's the goal. Or if I ever get bored of rune crafting, this is probably what I'll end up be doing. Or I'll probably be doing agility while I do all my herb runs. So nice little,
Yeah, definitely.
nice little mindless click, 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 click.
Yeah, agility and farm runs is peak content. But just don't ask me to elk though, because I'm not going to do that. I'm probably not going to fletch arrows either. I had like 300k broad arrows that I was making while I was in the CG lobby, and I AFK'd a lot in the CG lobby too. And it took me like 3 months, I think, to make all of them.
Yeah, I've got I think 4.2 million arrow shafts to create.
That's insane.
I think I need, if I end up doing like a Slayer boosting method and get broader fletching, I think I need 18 million shafts. So I'm what? I'm almost 1/5 of the way there. Or I am 1/5 of the way there, I guess.
Yeah, that's unreal numbers. I can't even imagine.
I guess that brings me into like with the CG grind and all that stuff. These days, do you consider yourself more of a PVMer or skiller? Because obviously with UIM, it's kind of hard to be a PKer. Um, but I imagine if you're ever doing any wieldy content, you're gonna fight back.
Um, yeah, sometimes it just really depends who's attacking you. Because I mean, if it's anybody with defense, you're dead. Unless they're just not good. But I would say, I mean, recently, like after CG, so I got, and actually right before my break, I got the Dragon Warhammer drop. I got it at like 3,400 KC or something like that. So I got kind of lucky on that, and then I actually wiped it about I think 2 months ago. So I have to get that back. So we'll see how that goes. But to answer the question, after the break and everything, when I started playing again, I did start doing a lot of skilling. I want to get like 90 base, and right now my lowest stat's Hunter, and it's 81. I'm trying to get 87 Slayer because I already have a Magic Fang in my looting bag. So as soon as I get 87, I can get the Trident, make the Trident of the Swamp, and then I want to get back to TOA, so I can try to pull that Timic and Shadow. And then as soon as I have that, I mean, I'm probably going to use it for Inferno. Inferno has always been one of my biggest goals on here, and I need to try to get to it ASAP.
You don't think you can do it with both though?
I'm sure I probably can. I mean, the thing is, like, I'm not like waiting to for them to like or for to get the staff drop like before I try Inferno. Like I'll definitely, attempt it with Bofa and RCB. Um, but yeah, I mean, just Shadow's just so good, so
True.
it would definitely make it a lot easier.
Very true. Yeah, the Shadow, crazy.
It's insane. I mean, and the thing is, like, a Shadow is a lot easier for me to grind out than a T-bow. Like with my weapons, DPS, and everything, TOA is just so easy. Just do 150s or 300s with, whoever, and yeah, eventually it'll drop.
One day, hopefully you don't go 2500 dry there as well.
You really had to say that, huh?
No, I jinxed.
You're probably thinking about that the whole time. You're like, I can't wait to say this.
No. You know what? Sometimes it's fun to, and then if you ever come back on, you're like, well, I'm 700 dry. Thank you, appreciate it. Watch, you're gonna get it in 150 now.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, it's unfortunate that I've only seen one purple so far, but I mean, it's one of the ones I needed, and the other one can drop at any point. So just got to get lucky.
That's the fun part about PVM and skilling goals is like skilling. I can set a goal, and if I put the time into it, I'm gonna reach it. PVM, it's like any kill could be the one.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely still have to put the time in because I mean, you're not going to get lucky everywhere. There are a couple people that I have seen that do seem to get lucky everywhere, but it's definitely not going to be the case. You're going to have to put in work, the time, whether it's skilling or PVMing. Um, it's I think probably a better example of, and actually not even because skilling pets are so rare, but you know, people grind for dumb amounts of time for some of those skilling pets, or just, I mean, pets in general. So
I've been fortunate to be pretty lucky on most of the pets I got on Mayfield. I think I got Rock Golem at like, so there was a point where I was just bored one day of doing runecraft. So I went to MLM to just grind out that collection log, and I got it in like the 600k XP I was there.
that's ridiculous. Yeah, I also got Rock Golem on my account too. I think it was like 76.
And then
I
I
mean,
and
for
then let's go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say from lower level MLM.
Oh
So
my
I
god,
was really surprised.
that's like, yeah, that's super spoon, super nice.
Yeah.
I think the luckiest one I got was probably agility. Like that's pretty lucky, but I think agility was lucky because I got it at like 98.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even consider it lucky because you're gonna go for 200 mil. You're gonna have like 20 pets when you're done.
That's true. I do have a pretty decent like duplicate pet luck. There's a few pets that I really want that I don't have. I want the herbivore pet. I don't have that, and I did herbivore all the way to 99 from 80. So hopefully one day.
Yeah, that one would seem annoying to go dry on
Granted,
unless you like the content.
I hate hunter, but herbivore is the only hunter method that I can like do for a long period of time and not be irritated by it. So I can fletch arrow shafts, or I can fletch headless arrows the whole time. So I'm
Yeah,
never like, there's never like a moment where I'm just like walking everywhere. With no stamps, it does suck to walk everywhere.
definitely. Stamp pull is like my main like first goal on both of my UIMs. It's a game changer. If you're walking around everywhere, you're wasting time.
Exactly. So besides CG, we talked about CG, we talked about TOA, we've talked about a few other things. Is there anything like from any other big PVM that you want to go for? Like, do you have your sights set on Tob at any point for Sang, or Phantom Muspa
So
for the Venator bow, or anything of that nature?
I would. So I'm gonna do Cox, of course. I want D Claws. I want Kodai. I want Tebow. Um, if I do TOB, it's gonna be the last thing that I do because the only thing that I would want is Sing, and I'll probably have a Shadow. So, I mean, Sing would be nice for like the heals and stuff, but like I'm just gonna want to use my Shadow everywhere. So, the Sing probably just will not get any use. Aside from that, trying to think of the bosses I could even do or would need to do. I'm definitely gonna get into Cox though as soon as TOA, as soon as Inferno is done. That's my next place, and I'm probably gonna be there for a long time. I'll probably take another break.
So I guess that, like, what keeps you motivated? Like, with all these insane grinds, obviously, like you said, you wipe the D Warhammer, knowing you have to go back and do that again. What keeps you going?
Definitely, it's just the fact that I can play while I work. Like the Warhammer took me, I think, like 4 days of sitting at shamans with the 2 alt safe spot. So it was like no time because I'm getting paid. I'm just sitting here getting range XP. At the time, I wasn't even 99 range, so I just looked at it, as training and also, GP, that sort of thing. But as far as how I keep motivation, aside from work, honestly, I don't. I haven't been playing much outside of work, sadly, just because I've been kind of burnt, but I do definitely put the hours in still, and I know I'm gonna get back to it as soon as I get 87 Slayer. Slayers, it's so boring to me.
Slayer is the reason I'm level 3 is because of Slayer. It's
And
my
that's
least favorite skill.
Yeah, and I know that's like a really unpopular opinion, but it's just so slow. And then like it's just my combat level is only 80, so I can't do Neve. I was doing Konar, did like 100 Konar tasks, I think, or something like that, and then I've just been using what's the fairy
Cheldar.
Childar? Yeah, yeah. So I gotta have a permanent Draymond staff in my inventory that I can't even use to use, fairy rings. All I can do with it is just open that door, go to that fairyland to get my next terrible task. That's not going to give me hardly any XP.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I mean, I have everything extended that I can extend, Dust Devils, next, all that stuff. I haven't gotten a next task yet, and I'm 83 Slayer, like 100k away from 84. Next I'll unlock 80. I didn't get a Gargoyles task until 82 Slayer, and it's just my task luck has been really bad. I've done like 5 or 6 Jads though, which obviously those help. They're definitely the best XP I can get per hour. And also I want the pet, so I'm just gonna keep grinding those and keep chipping away at 87 and see what happens next.
I guess the pet thing is a great way for me to ask, the two next questions. The first one is going to be, are you planning to do any kind of collection logging in general on SCIMMY, or are you planning sorry, and what other kind of upgrades do you still need for 1 defense?
So I yes and no. I mean, it really just depends, like where my account, what stage it's in. I would say that if I'm gonna, hunt for collection log slots, I would probably have to be maxed and have all the items I want already. As far as what I'm missing, I have, I have a good chunk of stuff. Like I have storable vestments, storable elder robes. I have, the manacles, the ranges, the wizard boots, the holy sandals. I have 4 Zenites. Um, I think I think really the biggest things that I'm missing are just, again, just the Cox items, Shadow. I think that's. I have to go and get another B ring, but I'll probably just use Lightbearer forever and just use it as an excuse to not go back to Rex because Rex with 1 defense was terrible.
True.
Off. Yeah, but there's not much that I needed, and then also Infernal Cape, which again, biggest goal.
And when you eventually get your Infernal Cape, because of course we all absolutely believe you will, um, are you planning to go for pet?
Um, no, definitely not. Definitely not. I'll if I get pet 1K sequel, maybe maybe I like gamble the cape, so I like force myself into a second KC or something. That'd be interesting. But no, I would have no reason to. I mean, obviously it's a really cool pet, but one defense Inferno, even if you're insanely skilled at this game, it's still not easy to do. So it's not worth the time, in my opinion. I was talking to Semtex recently, and we were talking about like I believe I had heard somewhere someone say something about like removing the defense requirement for Slayer Helm. If one defense was able to use Slayer Helm, then I I might consider it. But I'd also it just depends on like how hard it actually is for me. I know it's gonna take some time, but it's just like anything else.
Absolutely. And I guess with the Slayer Helm thing coming up and other gear that would really make it super easy, like not super easy, but like just more manageable. Is there any point where you've thought about going to a different defense build, or is there a point in like the one defense game mode where you're like, well, I've done pretty much everything one defense can do. The example I think I always give is like Exact, who obviously he did his for charity, but he kind of had done pretty much everything a one defense could do. Um, is there a point where you're like, maybe if this happens, I'll go 13 or 30 or 42, 45?
No, so I think actually during my CG grind, I kind of thought about it because um totally forgot what actually even. Oh, I made a 42 defense UIM, which I only played it for like a month. I got um beak gloves on it. I got like Rangers manacles. Um, and at that time, I was really considering getting defense on here, but it's no, I don't think I'll ever do that. I think that once my account is like complete, as far as like all the items, like it's maxed. I mean, I'm probably just gonna just continue to just do like raids and stuff like that with friends, and just I mean any sort of PVM. The thing is, like, I like it when stacks of items and stuff get big, so like I can do whatever I want and make that happen. I can do skilling, I can do PVM for items, like it's so.
Very sick. That being said, like with item stacking up, is there ever a point where you're like, well, now I have, I don't know, 100k of this in my looting bag. I'm gonna go like get hella XP in one skill, or is there any other point where you're like, maybe I want to try and grind some skill ranks?
So I would rather grind for boss ranks instead of skill ranks myself, but it would definitely be cool to, be like rank one, pure in when it comes to, different things, whether it be skills or the boss KCs. But no, I think that I think that I'd be more focused on bossing still even then. I do like the occasional skilling, but I mean, it's the thing is, it's really hard to say because if I don't have any items to go after when when bossing is done with, then I might just become a skiller. I don't know.
Fair, but with how many, we get what like two or three new bosses a year, sometimes less, sometimes more, depending on the skill level. So I doubt there'll be a lack of things for you to do in the near future, especially with Desert Treasure 2 looming.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to getting my prayer up for that.
I was actually going to ask if you were planning on getting your prayer up. So, did you play around in the beta at all with any of the new prayers?
No, I did not, but my plan all along was that I was going to go 99 prayer. So I am going to do that at some point. I'm pretty close to having the hard combat achievements unlocked, so I'll be able to get like I forget how many points. I think like 6 points per pest control game from the middle boat, which is amazing because I think you normally get like 3. So I'm probably gonna just like AFK a lot of pest control, maybe Fletch, but probably not because my CG money is basically gone. Yeah, it's all gone. All gone.
So with grinding ranks, are you ever going to go back to CG and go for rank 1 in regular UAM?
No, I think the guy that is rank 1, I think he's like 3600 KC, and honestly, I don't plan to ever do another CG. So that one is like just that content's dead to me.
You're like 2 is enough. Rank 2
Yeah.
is enough.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know actually if I had said earlier because I know I said I ended at rank 2. I'm actually rank 6 UIM now. So and people were
Seriously?
so yeah.
Oh my,
Yeah.
people are crazy.
I mean it's really good money, and a lot of the time you're chasing 1 out of 400 drops, so you can definitely expect to potentially do a lot.
I can't even imagine. I truly am on the fence of if I'll ever even touch CG on the hardcore. As long as I'm a hardcore, I don't think I'll ever do it.
That's understandable, but the thing is, it's so useful, and T3 armor makes it free. The only way you'll really die is if you do something like really dumb or you DC, which, I mean, the thing is, you can DC it literally like any boss and die.
Exactly.
So
I've never done
it,
T3 prep either, so I'd have to learn it.
I've never done it either. I've never done it either. I did mostly T2s for my runs because I was working, so I just wanted to be a little tankier, I guess.
Yes, that's
Um,
usually what I did as well as T2s.
Yeah, but even some of the T1 runs back then would be like really close. I think I started at like 80 mage, 80 range, somewhere around there, and by the time I finished, I was 98 mage, mm, 90 range, I think. So my
That's
DPS like it wasn't great. I couldn't even like one hit like the rats and stuff inside for weapon frames. So I think I was like 70 strength.
so just kind of just took time.
Yeah, yeah, it took some time, but now T3 prep seems interesting. I don't know if I'd ever be able to get that down. It seems like it'd be down to the wire with time every single time.
Oh, absolutely, that's what it looks like. So in regards to a few things coming up in the future, we've got probably sailing, and we've got Desert Treasure 2. Which obviously I believe, if from what you said, it seems like Desert Treasure 2 is kind of more what you're excited for. Is that true?
I mean, it just depends because that's hard to say because I voted for skilling. Like I wanted skilling, or not skilling, sailing.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that was definitely the. I mean, the thing is, like they've been talking about it for so long. They wanted it to pass, like it was gonna pass, but I'm excited for both. It's hard for me to say which one I'm more excited about. Um, yeah, looking forward to both.
In regards to sailing, what are some things you like really hope to see from it? Like things that like they've like talked about over the years, or things that you think would just be fun to do as like a training method, or like maybe even like a PVM method when it comes to sailing.
Yeah, I would mainly just be excited to see the content that comes from it in relation to PVM. See if there's maybe a weapon that I can go fish out of the ocean and use that for my new best in slot. I have no clue, but I think that it'd be really cool just to see all the PVM content that comes from it, as well as um, like I hope they somehow integrate PvP into it as well. So people could be fighting different spots rather than just like the wilderness and everything that we're used to.
Like a true engagement ship battle, or just like pirating?
So I have no clue. I don't even know what it could potentially look like. But I definitely want them to throw PvP into that as well. So it's not just like, you go to these places and it's just like bossing or just like skilling or whatever. I want them to include everything.
Fair enough. And then back to DT2. What are you most excited for? Like the drops that can come from that, or for the new prayer book?
Definitely the prayer book. I mean, the thing is, like, the items that are in the game right now are insane. So there are items that I'm already after. Like, don't make me grind for more stuff, please. But no, definitely the prayer book because I mean, pure DPS is just trash. So any sort of DPS that I can give myself, and also they have like the combination prayers, that sort of thing. I think that it's gonna speed up me killing a lot of different things. It's gonna be a lot more useful than a single weapon or whatever drop I might be able to get from DT2.
Absolutely. I'm really hoping they don't like hard cap some of the new prayers with a defense requirement like they did with Piety Augury and Rigor. I hope they're like, or if they do, it's like lower, or like you just have to have another quest done. But do you see them like kind of like, for lack of a better term, like fucking over some of the pure community with like that kind of requirement, so that way people will still have to have defense on the new prayer book to like reach the highest tier of them?
I mean, I don't think that it makes sense. I don't know. I haven't really like looked into it too much, so I can't really say if there is a defense. And I don't know if if there is a defense requirement at all, or if they've even talked about it. But I think that it would be dumb for them to have that. Although I can see them having it. Because the thing is, like, again, even if you're giving us access to the same prayers, our gear is not great. Like, our DPS is nowhere near, the mains and different accounts. Which, yeah, a restriction's a restriction, right? So like, if they do put that requirement, I understand. I'm not going to complain about it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think they should, and I hope they don't.
That's fair. It's fair. I am in the same boat. But you never know with Jagex.
You never know.
So we've talked a little bit about like what's coming up in the future. Previously, we've had, with you playing for the last 9 years, there's been a plethora of updates that we've seen come out over the years. Besides the, obvious Iron Man UIM stuff, what were some of your favorite updates that have come out through the years?
So my favorite updates. I think TOA is amazing. I love TOA, but I haven't done a ridiculous amount. I know Cox. I'm gonna love that as well. I mean, just a lot of the PVM. So like I mentioned before, back when I used to play my first account, that was that 99 attack Zerg. Um, I first started like doing Zulrah and Vorkath on there. And I think those updates were amazing because that really is what got me into bossing at first. So those are probably my favorite. Like, just having like Zora, really, I've killed that boss way too many times on multiple accounts. Um, Even though I don't really like doing the boss, it's probably my favorite new piece of content that was added because it's what got me to got me into PVM. And that's not to say that there's nothing else that would have done that, but that's what did it for me. But I remember also being very excited when they brought out God Wars. It's really cool. I mean, there's just so many. I mean, it's again 9 years. There's so much content that was added, and there's a lot of good content that was added. So it's a hard question to answer for sure.
I agree. I believe like no matter what, it's a very difficult question, but it kind of makes you look back and think about like a lot of people have, hatred for Jagex on things they've done wrong and all that stuff, but if we look back, we can really see like how many things that they've done right as well. So it kind of gives, in my opinion, like a really big appreciation for what they can do and what we've seen them do. And so we should have a little bit more faith in them when it comes to like future content updates.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely agree with that. I don't really complain, about too much stuff that they do or don't do. Um, I think that I'm looking forward to the future because they definitely seem to be like being like more inclusive with different account builds and stuff now. So I'm just excited to see like what else they're gonna do. Like as far as content goes, that we'll actually be able to complete, and maybe items that we'll be able to use that we might have not been able to use before.
Yeah, just like the Zenites.
Exactly, exactly. And my Zamorak chaps.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that. That was such a wild update. Super stoked on that one though.
Thank you, Shawnee.
So, in regards to like your time playing RuneScape, do you find yourself playing other games a lot, or are you kind of exclusively a RuneScape guy and then different hobbies outside of like the computer?
So I don't really play other games. I used to be, big into like COD and Halo. Like I used to be really good, play competitively. Um, but I think that just my love for this game, like just like pretty much took me away from those games completely. Um, I so like as far as free time goes, I don't have like a whole lot of free time right now, just because like work and stuff like that. Outside of the game, though, I just do same stuff a lot of other people do, hang out with friends and family. Um, but most recently, I'm trying to get back to the batting cages. I played baseball for a really long time when I was younger, up through high school. So I'm getting back into that. Um, Went earlier this week, but it's just been so hot out. So like even like if I'm not, because like I said before, if I'm not working, I'm probably not playing. So right, like currently, like if I'm not playing, I'm at home. I'm probably just gonna be, just sitting watching TV or sleeping. I love my sleep. Been getting a lot of it lately. I need my beauty sleep.
That's fair. I think we all need a little bit some from here and there.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. I love it.
So with like getting back into the baseball thing, friends, family, I've got to sleep, got to work, all that stuff. How do you balance your like time with everything? I know with some of the grinds you've done, how long you've played the account, things just come over time no matter how much you play per day. Like even if you only did 10 CG a day max, like that would still be, you know, many, many, many days. So what do you do to help balance your time?
Um, I that's kind of hard for me to answer because again, like I said, I mainly just play like while I work, and that wasn't always the case. Like balancing for me is a lot easier now. I used to be like a fiend for this game.
Hmm.
But the thing is, like again, if I'm putting in 8 hours a day on this game, or 8 to 10 hours a day on this game while I work, in my opinion, I probably don't need to play more than that, unless like I'm going to do something that I can't really do um, while I'm working, like raids or if I want to like talk to my friends or whatever. Um, so it's been a lot easier for me than it was in the past. I just always wanted to play in the past. I was just always trying to progress my account. But I've just I don't know. It's just the best thing you can definitely do is just find a hobby, or just go touch grass.
Grass is fun to touch sometimes.
Sometimes.
Just sometimes though.
Not when it's like 100 degrees out, like right now.
Yeah, it's 90 where I am, so it's not been a great week, honestly, to go outside and touch grass. So I'm happy to stay in my air conditioned basement and not go outside.
Same. Same. Except I'm upstairs, so I'm basically in the attic.
Yeah, it's like even if my house is like 70, my room is like 55, 60. So it's like just beautiful. I'm a very big creature of comfort, and one of my main comforts in life is like staying cool. I don't like when it's over 75. And for those who know me know I live in like the Midwest, so it only gets super hot like 5 or 6 months of the year tops.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. Yeah, the where I live currently, it's like a desert climate, so it's usually really hot or really cold. Um, but like summers here are terrible. I used to live in Arizona too, and it's the heat is just not fun. I always have my place at like in literally in the 60s. So I I do not do the heat.
I respect it. I'm with you 100%
Yeah.
in solidarity.
Yeah.
Now,
Not a fan of the sun, even though we need it.
that's true. Vitamin D is important for health.
It's very important. Do you want to live or you want to die?
Well, it's a hard question most days, you know?
You know, I shouldn't have asked that question.
Now we're all going to spiral. Everybody's listening, spiraling currently. We're all like, what is life? So, with you playing this game for so long, um, what what do you think your future with this game is looking like? I know you said right now you're like not 100% like the most motivated you've ever been, but you still log in, you still play, right? So where do you see yourself like? Do you see yourself leaving anytime soon? Is there any update that would come out that you're like, I just can't do this anymore? Or is there anything that you're like, these things in my real life have become far more important than any game ever could be?
Yeah, well, I mean, real life is definitely way more important, but I would say that I will probably play this game for a long time. Um, whether I take a break here and there or not, whether I'm playing 2 hours or 10 hours a day, I'm definitely going to continue to play. Um, I have goals that I want to complete, and um, I think I'll play it for as long as I possibly can. I don't think there's going to be anything that'll like really upset me enough to stop playing, um, unless I had to get like 2 defense or something. But at that point, I'd probably just go like 42 defense and then go from there.
It's fair. So honestly, that's really all I got for you. I think we've kind of hit all the high points. Is there anything else you wanted to um talk about a ton, or is there anything else you wanted to ask me before we sign off for the day?
Um, no, I think I've covered all everything that I wanted to cover. I know some people just had. I mean, it's just like common questions I always get, mainly about CG. A lot of people know me from CG. But as far as your account, how do you know the direction your account is going into? Which is lovely. The account's looking amazing. Um,
Well, thank you.
but I did also want to say thank you, obviously, for having me on here, and to everybody listening for taking the time to listen. Um, but yeah, look forward
Uh,
to seeing the video come up.
awesome. Yep. So for those wondering, we're recording this on June 4th, 2023. Actually, the Semtex episode will have gone up today, so hopefully y'all enjoyed that. And this episode will be going up on June 18th, so it'll be 2 weeks from today.
Sweet, sounds good. Can't wait to one tick like Sem's video. He's so beautiful. I love him.
Big shout out to Sem, everybody who in like the basically like the pure community, the Iron Man pure community that we've been able to talk to on here, and like, especially like people like SCIMMY, like yourself, who people may know you, but aside from Twitter, I don't think you do much YouTube or anything, right?
I do not. No, I don't do any sort of content creation.
So it's always fun to be able to dig into the mind of somebody who may have seen your account walking around, or like PM'd you, or whatever clan you're in, all that kind of stuff. And they're like, I want to know, more, and now you get to know more.
Yeah, yeah, no, especially with having these weird account builds, I guess you can say. there's a lot of people that just aren't. They're just not used to seeing them. They're what some would call unique, one of a kind. So no, it's cool though that I'm glad that I was able to come on here and do this and answer the questions that you had. I'm sure that those questions are a lot of people probably wanted to ask the same questions. So
Wonderful. And then it's been a great time, and I hope you have the rest of a great day. Woof, English is hard. And make sure that everybody check out Skimmy's account in the description. Will be like your high scores temple, and then do you want me to link your Twitter as well?
If you'd be so kind.
Absolutely, I will then. So
I love you. Thank you.
We love you too, and there is always going to be place to reach out, and then yeah, that's it. Any final any final words?
Well, again, thanks for having me on today. But no, man, we're good to go. So you take care. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, and you as well.